Welcome to Let's Play Sundays. It's Entertainment Talks video game Let's Play series. I'm your host Matthew, and not going to be playing The Last of Us 2 today per se, but I am going to be looking at this extras menu that we've got. So the game had an update about a couple of months ago or so. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, so I haven't had a chance to look at these things. We did talk about it on the Gaming Talk podcast in terms of just a rough kind of look at what they were doing with the game, but I just wanted to sort of go through each thing, kind of discuss all the different stuff that they've got here, and go from there. So the first thing that they've got here is the render modes. Now, just to be clear, as you can possibly see here, it's got 5, I'm just going to call them points because it's 5p, which I'm going to guess is points. 5 points for each of these that you've got to use, and you can see in the top right corner I've got 469. Obviously I've finished the game a long time ago, and I'm roughly halfway through my New Game Plus for this game. So yeah, that's probably why I've got quite a few points and whatnot, and I'm assuming I'll maybe pick up some more once I tick some more boxes of collectibles and whatever. So let's go through them. At the moment, obviously I've got none selected, just a normal looking game. You've got graphic here, which obviously you can see what that kind of looks like. So that looks a bit sort of like a Telltale game in a way, but a little bit different, sort of colour shaded, almost a bit like the reboots, the Ubisoft reboot of Prince of Persia. Looks a lot like that actually. So that's the first one that we've got. I don't intend to, I'll maybe use some of these or whatever. I intend to use the gameplay modifiers that they've got in maybe a third playthrough. We'll see. But I'm just going to go through the graphics, and then we'll talk about the gameplay modifiers that they got. But graphic, this is the first one that they've got. Again, a little bit, I don't know what year it was, I think it was maybe 2008 or so. Ubisoft did a reboot for the Prince of Persia game. They only did one of them. I think there was a sequel in the works, but it didn't happen or something. But that looks quite a lot like that. Headache, that's a sort of, that's like one of them things you can get with cameras, isn't it? I've seen similar designs to that. I don't like the look of that one at all. That one, by the way, I think looks quite nice. I might try that one. Headache looks like it's gonna give you a headache. I don't really like that one. I wonder if it's all just red and white. I'm not familiar with all of these necessarily, but we'll keep going through them. But yeah, it looks like a sort of red. There's a little bit of sort of grey, blackish on the right there, but mostly red and white. But I don't particularly like the look of that one. Afterlife, so everybody looks dead, which is kind of appropriate for this game and the world. Obviously, you know, a post-apocalyptic zombie clicker sort of game, obviously. So that might look a little bit strange in some way, shape and form, but that's another one that they've got. Obviously that one looks okay. My favourite so far is the graphic one. 8-bit, obviously that's designed off of the old games and things. You've had recent examples that have looked similar, such as Celeste, which came out a few years ago. That was quite good. That uses a similar sort of graphic style to that. I like that style of graphics, but it's only suitable for particular games, and I don't think that's going to work necessarily with The Last of Us. Watercolor, that's almost like an alternate version of graphic. If you look at graphic there and you look at watercolor, it's sort of a more, well, watery version of that, isn't it? That one doesn't look too bad. Depends what, because you can't really see Ellie and Dina's face there, but that looks pretty good from that. Dungeon, that almost looks like another sort of variant of the same thing. That one looks a bit more coloured in, and that sort of thing. If you look at the backgrounds actually of the buildings, they almost look quite normal but a little bit stylized. Obviously Ellie looks a little bit different there. I mean, her hair's almost sort of blonde, yellow, gingery-ish sort of colour, but obviously there's a few differences there. That one's alright. Void, that one looks a bit scary actually. That sort of looks like sometimes when you look at the behind the scenes stuff of certain games, and you'd see like concept stuff for certain games, where like maybe the background isn't filled in, but the main points are like Ellie there, and some of the immediate environments are kind of filled in. But that looks okay. I wonder what that would be like in certain scenes of this game. But yeah, that one's not too bad. Pop poster, that one almost hurts my eyes. Yeah, I don't particularly like that one. So yeah, no, don't like that one. 1960, oh, I like that one quite a lot. That sort of gives a... For those of you who may or may not have seen it, I recently watched the film called The Lighthouse, which I did reviews on the website, spoiler-free review. Stars Robert Pattinson, of course, the upcoming Batman, and he's also in Tenet, and William Dafoe, who I'm sure most of you know as well. Yeah, that could work quite well, I think, the 1961. I am interested in trying some of these out, but not in my New Game Plus playthrough, although I don't know, so we'll see. But I do quite like the look of that one. Cool. That's just sort of a more blue version of the normal game, I suppose, which is what it's supposed to be. So that one looks alright. Warm, yeah, like a sort of orangey, reddish sort of version, kind of what I expected there. All of those are pretty good, you know, different just little colour palettes and that. Vibrant, is that where the colour is coming out a bit more? If you can see the hair on the horse there, it's a little bit more striking, or a bit more vibrant. That one looks okay. It looks sort of the least different to anything so far, but that one's alright. Noir, Noir, sorry, that looks a bit like the 1961 that I just looked at a minute ago, but I do quite like certain black and white things. I think more films and games should attempt to do that, but I think it depends on what exactly the story is you're trying to tell, what the genre is, and I think more horror films could potentially try that, and given that this is basically a horror video game, that could work pretty well. So yeah, I'm interested in trying that one out. Blorange, that looks exactly the same as Vibrant. Oh no, there's a bit of a colour difference there. Yeah, Ellie's jacket is a bit more blue greyish, whereas it's green there. So not too much difference there to me, but that one's alright. Sepia, one of the most common ones, more of an orange tone of course, which is interesting because if you look at the horse there, who has got more sort of orangey type of hair, and then you go to sepia, it turns more sort of grey blackish, but that one's alright. They're all sort of different variants, aren't they, of sort of the same thing. Vintage, more sort of a blue type of look, but sort of old style, I guess, maybe. That one's okay. Beasts, more of a reddish kind of thing. There's already a lot of red in this game because of the blood, but that one's okay. Terminated, green sort of one. That one looks okay, I guess. These are all variants, roughly the same thing. Gridlocked, Blacklight, Desert Fog, Blood, oh gosh, look at that one. Yeah, that's already quite red, isn't it? The Desert Fog, and then you move on to Blood. I wonder if that would kind of just dilute the game a little bit. I don't know, but that's kind of an interesting one. Inferno, so fire, again a bit more sort of red. And then you got one that's called Fire. I don't think you need both of them. Maybe they're different in some way that I don't know. Trinity, more of a green sort of one. That one's alright. Pusher. Some of these I just not heard of before. More of a sort of yellow. Demons, blue. Drug Zone, the green. Moonlight. So you start to get, these are all just different colour variants of the same thing. I like some of these earlier ones. I'm going to try out the 1960 and the Noir one, I think. So, and maybe this watercolour one, I think might be quite good. So, and the graphic one. So I like a few of them there, but not all of them. Let's move on to gameplay modifiers. You've got Mirror World, which I've never seen the point of ever. I've never actually tried it, but I don't think the idea is very interesting. Mirror on death, so you get that happen, but only when you die. So, okay. Then you've got the actual gameplay changes. Slow motion, fairly self-explanatory, reduces the game speed 50% when enabled. Bullet speed mode reduces the game speed 25% while you're aiming. So essentially, if you want it only while you're aiming or just all the time, you can switch between them. Now we've got the infinite tools, I suppose. So infinite ammo, infinite crafting, infinite melee duration, infinite listen mode, range, which is quite good. So I might do a playthrough, not with the slow motion stuff, I'm not really interested in, but the infinite ammo and crafting and melee and all that sort of thing. That could be an interesting little experiment. Then you've got one shot and touch of death. So one shot, all player guns are one shot kills. So would that include boss fights? I guess it maybe would, because why would it be different? Touch of death, all melee attacks are one shot, so like the old Assassin's Creed games, basically, like a sort of instant assassination kind of thing, I guess, with that. So that's quite cool. So yeah, you could kind of either have, like, if you're doing a melee or if you're doing a one shot, they're both one hit kills, which is kind of interesting. I do sort of wonder, because I remember when they talked about the grounded and the permadeath modes, which aren't listed here. I think those are just different gameplay difficulties that you can do. What would you do if, like, a clicker comes up behind you and just turns you around, bites you in the neck, you're done, you start the game again? I don't know, but yeah, interesting, because if like a runner or a person is attacking you and you can get them off of you, one hit kill, you could then just craft a melee kit and you'll be fine. But clickers, you don't get to do that same thing, so that might be quite interesting with using some of these. So could you just craft with, like, so crafting would be like medkits and things like that. Could you just craft like 100 medkits, just sit there for a couple of minutes just over and over again? That might be quite fun, actually, because I do like using Molotovs and explosive arrows and things like that, and using both of those would be pretty deadly as well, and leaving loads of mines all over the place. That would be, so that's more of like a fun kind of, that would be, because I'm on my second playthrough at the moment with the New Game Plus, this would be more of a kind of fun mess about with the gameplay a bit more. So that might be quite fun. Then the last one you've got is 8-bit audio, 4-bit audio, helium audio, and Xeon audio. So 8-bit audio is early 90s vibe, and then early 80s vibe with the 4-bit audio. So you got that. Helium audio pitches the audio up as if the atmosphere was filled with helium gas. So a bit like when you, isn't that thing you can do with a balloon or whatever, and you sound like a little chipmunk or something? I think that's what that is. Xeon audio pitches the audio down as if the atmosphere was filled with Xeon gas. I've never actually heard of that before, but that is all of that. So let me know, guys, which of these do you intend to use? I like I said, I'm gonna finish my New Game Plus normally, and then I'm gonna do a third playthrough. Maybe not the whole game, maybe just portions of the game, or maybe just some of the encounters that you can select. I don't know yet, but I'm gonna jump back in for a third time, enable some of these gameplay changes, and just kind of have some fun with it. Just throw loads of Molotovs around, use loads of explosive arrows, use loads of mines and stuff like that. That could be quite cool, quite fun. So yeah, let me know what you're going to use. Put it in the comment section, or whatever you want to do, or you can email us, matthew@entertainmenttalk.org. Follow us, Twitter, eTalkUK, and check out the website, of course, entertainmenttalk.org. So something a little bit different today. Just kind of going through the updates and stuff for this game, and just picking some different of my favourite things that they've added here. So pretty good stuff. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time on entertainmenttalk.org. Goodbye.